Hi everybody, welcome back to, well, you know what? I forgot to change the banner on this one. I'm so bummed out. I'll have to change it later. So welcome back to segment 3, and I'm talking with Helen Jordan from Jordan Luxury Travel. And so Helen, tell everybody who you are and what you do.
So my name is Helen Jordan, and what I do in life is enrich people's lives through travel experiences. And that sounds kind of lofty.
No, it actually doesn't. I'm smiling because I think it's flipping perfect. Say that again.
I enrich people's lives through travel experiences. And how I do that is really help people understand the value of travel. When we travel, when we get out of our everyday world, when we go to visit other cultures, other lands, other people, we learn so much. We step outside of ourselves. We can also really understand that we're just one small piece in this great big world. And while we get so absorbed in our own lives here when we travel, I think it's easier for people to really understand that, well, there's a great big world out there. I'm just one piece of it. Where do I fit in? And it's a continuous learning process. The other thing that I think is super enriching about travel, maybe solo travelers have a different perspective, but when we travel with our loved ones, with our friends, this is an opportunity for us to really deepen those relationships, to bond, and to create these memories that will stay with us forever. So really, it helps us to value the people that we love, to value experiences over material possessions.
You know, it's so interesting that you say that, because the topic is that self-care is not a luxury this week. And what you just said, I don't know if you heard my 10-minute kind of spiel prior to signing on. You set up a vacation for Doc and I after my bikini competition, and it was the first vacation we'd been on. And absolutely, that was the thing that came to mind for me, was that it was the first time that I had totally disconnected in a really long time and just enjoyed the vacation. And we just had such a great memory. You actually helped us because our first hotel was a great hotel, but the surrounding area wasn't what we hoped. And so you took us to a different hotel, like lickety split on spot. And we ended up in Muscle Shoals at the Cliff House Inn. And it was exactly what we were looking for. We opened the windows and there was like ocean sound. And it was perfect. We slept like babies. Doc had just come out from having an appendix surgery. So we really weren't looking for a crazy wild time. We were looking to really rest, and we really did. But we had a really great vacation, and it really did solidify our relationship. So thank you so much for helping us to do that.
Yeah, that I think that's wonderful that you had a fabulous time. I'm glad we were able to find another hotel. But back to this whole notion about kind of learning other cultures, going back to your first hotel and the homeless community that was around there, it sort of opens your eyes to, wow, I don't see this outside of my house every day. So this does exist. This is for real.
Absolutely. And you know what's interesting too, also from my perspective and from Doc's perspective, was different, because I spent 10 years in Manhattan, so the homeless didn't affect me so much.
Right.
But for Doc, it was like, it was a big deal. You know what I mean? Like, it was like, whoa, not that he doesn't see homeless, because he works in downtown Phoenix, right? So he drives through it a lot every day. But probably one of the reasons why he didn't want to be reminded on vacation about homeless people, because he drives through it every day. Whether I'm living in Central Phoenix or Cave Creek or Scottsdale, don't see it as often today. But you're right. When we travel, we get an opportunity to try different food. We get an opportunity to see different places, whether it's here in the States, or there's plenty of places here in the States to travel. When I'm on my motorcycle, I'm amazed by how much land and how much stuff we have to see here in the States. But there's so many things. I've traveled to Ireland and London. You're right. You get an opportunity to see how the other side lives. And that's so important, because it makes you realize the world is much bigger than this little tiny microcosm that we live in, right?
It is. It is. And,
so
even
travel for you, like why did you decide in a travel business? Because you came from a corporate situation, and then you left there, and now 2 years you've been focusing on this travel business. You obviously love to travel. It's something you believe in.
it is
business.
The reason why I decided to do this, I'll kind of go backwards a little bit. When I was a kid, my dad was in the military, so we were a military family. We moved quite frequently. We lived in Europe a couple of times, and travel really was a part of our lifestyle. Although we didn't do luxury travel. I mean, we traveled as a family. We camped. We did, pretty low key, low budget things. But
you had a really jelly experience, is what you're telling me, right?
Yes. Again, just taking back those experiences, those memories. When I went to college, what I really wanted to be was an international flight attendant. I did.
Wow.
So, I took some languages. I also took business, sort of my fallback position. And then once I graduated from college, my life took a little bit of a different turn. And so I didn't become a flight attendant, and I ended up getting into the business world, and I ended up in HR, which, kind of dovetailed also into this notion that I always wanted to, sort of help people and be available to them. So as time went on, I did some business travel, but I also continued to travel on a personal level because I love it. I have a passion for it. And then, over the course of probably a couple of years, I started thinking, I've got to do this. I've got to do this. I've got to do it soon. I want to get out of the business world, and I want to get into the travel world. And so I started trying to think, how do I do this? Do I buy income property somewhere so I can go visit it? Do I try to become a flight attendant? And that didn't seem to be a good solution for me because potentially I would have to relocate and all of that. So I didn't see that as a great solution. But becoming a travel advisor, starting my own business, that is something that I could do while working here out of my own home. And so I did my research, and I found a great host agency, and I went through their mentoring program, and that's how I started my business. And so here I am, and continuing to network and, evangelize, if you will, the benefits of travel.
So that's really interesting to me. This is actually, usually when I hear people in the travel industry that they had a corporate job and they met somebody and they kind of got moved in that direction, but you actually had a longing to this initially and kind of came back to your first love. How fun for you.
Yeah.
Pictures, because you've just recently taken 3 trips. You took Croatia and Montenegro. Montenegro, I can never say that right. And then Italy and France, and then London and Italy. You went on 3 trips just recently, and I was kind of stalking you on Facebook, admittedly. She's going to some really cool places. This is something you've been waiting your whole life to do.
It's amazing. It's such a wonderful experience. And, people think that for the folks that are in the travel industry, all our travel, comes at absolutely no cost. It's all fun and games. It's like being on constant vacation. But these are true working trips, because I'm going on these trips with partners, and I'm going on these trips with other people. Some may be aligned to the same host agency as me. Some may be aligned to other agencies throughout this country. So the interesting thing is that we go with our partners, and they are there to help us learn more about the destinations, to learn about the different tours and activities that are available for clients, to have those experiences, and to see and experience the different hotels and other properties.
So that's so cool. So when you're sending people to hotels, more often than not, you've actually been there and experienced it as a client.
Absolutely. I mean, that's part of the continuing education in this industry. It's really important that we don't just Google everything and, just read something online. It's really important to get out there, understand the people that work in those particular properties, to understand who the best tour guides are, and just to really experience the destination.
That's really cool. So the topic for the week is how self-care is not a luxury. And I realize that having a vacation is part of self-care, and usually it entails travel. You can have a vacation at home, a staycation, but that's also an option. But do you agree? This is not, even though you've had luxury is in your name, in a way, it's not really a luxury to travel, right?
No, and you know, so one thing I also want to say about luxury can mean different things to different people. Luxury can include a backpacking trip. I mean, it can be a luxury to actually get out there, right? So luxury can mean different things to different people.
Share-based, gifting kind of social responsible kind of traveling things too, right?
Exactly, exactly. And I can get to that in a moment, but back to the self-care aspect of it. You know, even taking the time away from work is a self-discipline. Just like going to bed early enough so you can get up and go to the gym in the morning.
Yeah.
Or being very cognizant about what it is you put into your body. So I think that self-care is a discipline that everybody needs to do. We need to take time away from work. I am guilty as everybody else in putting too many hours in, not, stepping away from the desk. Because I work from home, it's really easy, right? I can be there first thing in the morning. I can be there until I go to bed at night. So taking a break, and not just taking a break from the office, but actually getting out of your normal routine, going to a different place, whether that's here in the US or whether that's somewhere internationally. I think that helps with self-care so that you can just take a break, let your brain, let your emotions go to a different place.
And I agree. When you're at home, you tend to check your email, check your Facebook, check your, but when you're away, when we were in California, I really put my phone down for the most part. I mean, I took pictures and I posted a little bit, but anybody who knows me knows that it's like a surgically implanted on my hand. You know what I mean? Like I'm that the iPhone lets me use my finger now to type. It's so much easier than using both thumbs, and I can do voice recordings. But, I think that it's important to get away because it makes you realize how attached you are to your flipping devices.
It does. And I'll give a personal experience about how I believe it really helps with self-care. So, I'm divorced, and it was on a trip several years ago, and I was out of the country, and I wasn't with my husband. I was actually traveling with my brothers. And I kind of just had this epiphany while I was traveling, thinking, that relationship had run its course, and I finally had to make the decision: do I continue along with the status quo, or do I have the discipline to make the change based on this realization that I had while I was outside of my normal routine?
Because it shakes you up. It gets you to think in a different way, which is one of the reasons why when you and I actually met through Gilly Alkenblit. I was thinking about it today.
Yes, we did.
And I invited you to come to a networking group that I was a part of, which you joined.
Yes.
And you and I both met Trisha,
yes,
an epigenetics person, right? And so, you and I are working together this year on a yoga retreat, on two of them actually. We're hoping to have them be monthly in the next couple of years. Next year, we're going to hopefully go quarterly, but this year we're doing biannually. We're going to do one in the first week in April, and the next one's going to be the first week in September. So once the kids have kind of gone back to school, and when you're for the people back east in April, it'll be like when you're ready to kill yourself because it's not getting warmer and you really are ready for the warm weather. We're going to do a warm retreat in April, and we're going to do a cool retreat in September. So we're working on getting a yoga retreat together, and you and I have been talking about it for about, 6 months or so. Now we're putting legs on it. So we're going to let people know when the retreats are going to be exactly, and where they're going to be. But the whole premise around the yoga retreats is going to be, as far as physically, mentally, spiritually, and nutritionally, that having a luxurious experience to let all of those pieces of you rest and regenerate. And so we'll keep you posted. But you've been looking at a couple different places. So what are you thinking about the yoga retreats?
Well, in terms of yoga retreat, we can keep it simple, and we can keep it in the US. So we've got some great locations here throughout the United States. Then we have some other locations not too far away internationally that are really good options as well. What really comes to mind are places like Costa Rica, Panama, maybe even Mexico. There's some great places in Mexico as well. Easy to get to. Traveling would be very simple. And again, these are places that can help you just sort of relax and, take yourself out of your normal routine.
And definitely practice some self-care, because you're not just going on a vacation where you're going to eat, although we'll be eating.
Yes.
And you're not just going on a vacation where you're going to be just stressed out traveling by yourself trying to figure out where you are, although we'll be doing some of that. But you're also going to be exercising and doing some yoga and like rebalancing your body. So I can't wait to see what we come up with. I've been looking forward to seeing what we do. So we'll keep people posted on where the name of the retreats are called Tavis Yoga. So I actually had a Tavis Yoga was out of my art gallery in Carefree for a while. And so I'm rebranding Tavis Yoga to be just retreats. Before it was yoga in the gallery and retreats. So it'll be 2 Tavis Yogas retreat. Tavis actually is the Sanskrit word for courage.
So see, this is a learning opportunity for me right now.
So for me, it takes courage to take a couple days away. So these are 4-day retreats. You'll have 1 day traveling, 1 day coming back. So you'll need 6 days in total, but we'll be away somewhere for 4 days. But it takes courage to step away from what you think a vacation should be, and also from your work and your life. And maybe take a step away from your spouse or your partner for a second, or maybe take your spouse or your partner with you. To go and try something new in a new place. So for me, yoga is really all about courage and fearlessness. It's about, trusting that God made your body just fine. And if you take care of it, it's going to move the way it's supposed to. I think a lot of people think that yoga is just like only for the Gumby people, which I kind of think is like kind of silly, because the reason you're a Gumby person is because you do yoga.
Right.
People don't realize that if you want to increase your flexibility, you practice yoga, or you stretch, you do bar, you do Pilates. But if you sit still and do nothing, you just get tighter.
That's true. And interestingly enough, I don't typically do yoga as part of my normal fitness routine. So I'm going to start taking yoga.
It will be a great experience for you too. So we were also talking about how just that your recent trips and where you've been going, and also traveling too much, right? Like, stepping away from your routine too much. There's a balance between traveling all the time and then rerouting. So like my friends, I don't know if you know Deborah Bateman and Tim Bateman, they actually travel 4 months out of the year in their RV. Do you know that, Deborah?
I've met Deborah before.
And I think what's cool about what they're doing is they're doing it in an RV. So they actually have a home base that's moving with them. You know what I mean? And it's in retirement. They've kind of planned it. They've got a plan around it. But people who travel for work, it can be a little derailing, right? If you're traveling for work all the time.
Speaking of which, tomorrow I take off on another trip, this one to Atlanta, because my host agency has an annual meeting where thankfully I'll have the opportunity to meet with some, great suppliers, the, best names in travel. So I'll be talking about our yoga retreat there and, seeing who can do the best for us for that retreat.
See, I think that timing is everything, right? Timing is everything. Like when you're ready to start a new nutrition program, you can be needing it all day long, but if you're not ready for it, you're not going to get started. So I think this timing is perfect, because we've been talking about doing this yoga retreat, and then to have it happen right before you go away to a conference like that's pretty cool. So if people want to work with you to choose their next vacation, maybe their honeymoon or a corporate trip or any other type of travel they have coming up, how do they get a hold of you?
So the easiest way to get a hold of me is either to send me an email or to reach out to me by telephone or text. So my number is 602-692-9379. And my email is helen@jordanluxurytravel.com. They can also go out to my Jordan Luxury Travel Facebook page. They can also go out to my website at www.jordanluxurytravel.com.
Well, Helen, I am so flippin' excited to see what we come up with.
Yeah, we're going to have fun. It'll be great.
I mean, this is what we've done is we've created a job around our life in a way that we have a lifestyle now that is built around what we love to do and what we want to do and how we want to be. We're both at that. We're not 20 anymore, so we've had a couple lessons in life, and now we get to live life the way we want to. And so one of the things I've always wanted to do is to do some sponsored yoga retreats like this. So I'm looking forward to it. I think we're gonna have a lot of fun.
I think we'll have a lot of fun too. And I'm just going to put in a plug for Isogenics here because I am starting my program on Monday when I get back from this conference. So I'm afraid the conference will just have me too scattered and.
You're not prepared for the day before. Well, I'm glad that you mentioned it. I wasn't going to out you on this interview, but I'm super excited that not only are we doing the yoga retreats together, but that we'll be able to interweave in Isogenics into the retreat, and we'll get to serve people doubly, both by getting them away at a yoga retreat, but also, you know, exposing them to Isogenics. So I'm super excited about that. And I'm super excited for you because I think your energy level and your nutrition is just going to hit a whole new level, and you're going to be as wild as I am about the company and about the product. So,
yeah, awesome. Well, and I want to thank you for inviting me on the show. And I am so looking forward to putting this yoga retreat together and for us to get some great people to come with us.
Awesome. Well, thanks a lot, and we'll see you again soon.
All right. Thanks, Michelle.
Take care.
Bye.
All right, everybody. So that's a wrap. That's the end of the 45th session of Relentless Talk Radio. So you can watch replays on Relentless Talk Radio here on Facebook, or you can go to youtube.micalizzienterprises.com to watch the YouTube version later. Micalizzienterprises.com is my website, or you can go to relentlesstalkradio.com to get linked to any of those things. So coming back again next week where we have another health and fitness leader talking about how their love for health and fitness, and another art and fashion person talking about their art and fashion business. So that's it. It's a wrap for Relentless Talk Radio. Take care, everybody.